Good evening. My name is Sandra Craig, and I represent the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois. You are watching a live interactive call-in television program brought to you by CAN-TV 21. Let's talk etiquette. I admonish you today to call a friend, call a neighbor, call a relative, and let them know to watch Let's Talk Etiquette, because we are discussing some very, very interesting stuff. We're talking about etiquette. And you know, we've had a lot of violence and murders and killing in our city, in our society, and we would like to let you know that teaching etiquette could kind of stop some of this behavior and curtail it, because I believe the problem is an education problem. And if you agree, call in, give us your comments. Some of us don't even know what it means, the word etiquette, or what it means to be civil, or what it means to be respectful. Therefore, it's difficult for us to teach our children. So please call in, chime in, call a neighbor, call a friend, call an enemy, tell anybody to come and watch Let's Talk Etiquette. And at this time, I would like to invite my very special co-host, no one other than Mr. Nathan Wright. Welcome, Mr. Wright.
Wow, we're back together again. It is awesome to be your co-host. I enjoy each and every one of our shows, and the subjects that we talk about are so impactful, so powerful, so dynamic, so just life living and life caring. So thank you for inviting me again to be your co-host. And hey, we're going to have a great show today.
Yes, we are. Now, our phone lines are open. Our phone number is 312-738-1060. Again, 312-738-1060. Call in and let us hear from you. We don't want to just talk to each other. We want to talk to you, okay? Thank you. Now, Mr. Wright, we're talking about the subject of etiquette. And we know that a lot of our ills and problems in our city is because of lack of respect and etiquette training and knowing what it is to be human and to respect yourself and others. So, Mr. Wright, would you share with us what the definition of etiquette is, please?
Yes. Now, of course, I have, as an organization, we have our own more refined definition of etiquette. And I'll be more than happy to give that to you. It's not a short definition, it's somewhat of a lengthy definition. But I like to start by saying etiquette is what makes us human. What is our responsibilities as humans in our society? The foundation of society is the behavior, or rather the rules of behavior, the society, the members of that society adhere to. And therefore you need to learn, you need to be educated as to what the word means so that you understand your role. You have a role in society to play. We all have a role. We are members, and we are called citizens of the society or of the nation that we live in. And so the foundational education that we need to be able to have is etiquette and the rules thereof. So that's more or less what our definition, the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois' definition of the word etiquette. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Now, I agree, and unfortunately, they're not teaching our children in school about etiquette, what it means to behave, and see, a social education actually needs to be taught alongside or before you get an academic education. Because if you do not know how to behave, conduct yourself, get along with others, be respectful, then how much are you going to learn, and how much is a teacher going to be able to teach?
Unfortunately, not a great deal, because a child has to be centered in their humanity. And because we live in this society and we speak a European language called etiquette, called English, I apologize, I said etiquette, called English, then the word etiquette is just one of many, many words in the English language. So for a child to understand their role in society, then they have to understand what the rules are and why these rules should apply. Okay? If you don't understand why these rules should apply, then how can you adhere to them? Okay, so what do we do at the Etiquette Foundation? We teach manners and we teach morals. And those are the two combinations of rules that is related to etiquette. That's the foundation of etiquette. So if you learn how to behave by using good manners, and you have good ethical values by conducting yourself as a righteous person, as a caring person, as a loving person, as a person who will not steal, who will not cheat, who will not lie, who will not kill, or bring harm to anyone, because you have good moral values. That has to be taught to our children, and is not being taught. It should be part of the subject every day, because we're exposing our children to all kind of degeneracy and criminality and corruption and murder and all these things that they are exposed to. So how do you counter that? Etiquette is the foundation. Manners and morals is our definition.
Right, and I would like to say this, Mr. Wright. I believe that there was a time etiquette and manners and discipline and conduct was taught at home, in the family. But the family is different today than it was some years ago. And so therefore, I believe the school, in educating the child, you do them a disservice if you do not let them know that they can have great math scores, great test scores, but if they lack the ability to socialize and to behave and to be respectful to others, then how far will that education take them? They won't go very far.
No.
And unfortunately, they probably won't receive all they could receive had they been taught to behave and to listen.
Yes.
Listening is very important. I know that we say talking is important, but I firmly believe you can learn more by listening. And unfortunately, some of our children do not know how to just sit and listen.
And focus on the lesson or the presentation being given to them.
Yes.
And that's so true, because first, etiquette teaches self-discipline. It teaches self-control, how to be in control of yourself. And therefore, you're able to focus, you're able to listen, you're able to retain the information that's being taught to you. But if you have all of these distracted things going on in your head, based on what you saw on TV or whatever, then you're not going to be able to focus, and therefore you aren't going to be able to learn to retain the information the teacher is providing for you. And so etiquette gives you that social, emotional, intellectual foundation so that you can be a student in the classroom. And after all, a student requires a role to play. You are a student. The teacher is the teacher. The principal that's a role that those individuals play. And in society, you play roles. That's the role of a child to be a student, or an adult to be a student. You know what your role is.
Yes.
You see? And so that's what I found, an intellectual foundation in understanding the word etiquette and what it implies and means in your life and in the life of everyone else around you. Okay? Then you can conduct yourself in a civil way in this society.
And yes, and I agree, Mr. Wright. And the other thing is, it's very difficult to be in the classroom and be disruptive and everybody not be inhibited by the learning experience. I think being polite is very important. Mr. Wright, would you mind giving us the definition of the word polite?
Yes. Well, first I would like to give the definition, the dictionary's definition of etiquette. See, that was our definition as members of the foundation. We have our own kind of definition for the word. But I'd like to share with our audience the definition that's given in the dictionary. Okay, would you like to read that, or you like me to read it?
The customary code of polite behavior in society or among members of a particular profession or group.
Yes. It's the customary code of polite behavior. There's a code to being polite and that behavior. And that's in society. It's not just within your family or with the individuals on your block, but the entire society. That encompasses the entire United States, the society of the United States. And if you're a member, a citizen of the United States, then this is the code of conduct in polite society. And so it's wonderful. But you have to understand it. You have to appreciate it. You have to value it. You have to really honor it, because this is your life. From birth to death, you're going to live as a citizen in a society that has rules of behavior.
Yes, and I think parents play a very important role in teaching their children etiquette. I know that we have a different lifestyle today. We have to work, we have to come home, we have to cook, we have to get ready to go back to work the next day. But then we have to look at what's happening to our children. They're raising themselves, and that's why we're seeing some of the things that we're seeing. Even if it was 20 minutes a night, take 20 minutes to teach your children how to be polite, how to be respectful, how to expect respect, how to be polite in the classroom. Because when you're disruptive, you're not only stopping yourself from learning, but you're disrupting the whole class.
Yes.
And is it right for some students to steal from others their opportunity to learn? No. So if everyone would just take 20 minutes a night, I mean, I know it sounds like that's not a lot, but if you continue and be repetitive, that information will get in, and you will see a difference in your child.
Absolutely.
Teach Johnny how to be respectful, to say good morning, to say thank you, excuse me, and how to diffuse a situation that could turn into a conflict by being polite. It's nothing wrong with being the person that says, well, I think you're right. I agree. Let's agree to disagree, but we'll talk about it another day, but I want you to have a great day. So what happened was, who is the strongest person? Well, of course, the person that stopped the conflict.
Yes.
And also, what's going to happen? There will be no stabbing, murder, or killing each other because we've stopped the situation. But they need the proper skills in order to be able to do that.
And they need to be educated.
And they can be educated. Now, we know that the schools aren't doing it. And there used to be a time when we did it. I think we need to return back to the way we did things some years ago. It wasn't broken. It worked. I don't know why it changed, but let's change back. And if each parent, just say each parent in a classroom with 30 children would take 20 minutes a night to teach their children
Yes.
manners, morals, and respect, what a different setting in that classroom. That would even motivate the teacher, because now she can teach. She can do what she was called to do in that classroom.
Absolutely.
But if it's if she has to break up this and stop that and do this and do that, by the time all of that's over, the learning experience is over. Kids are going on to the next class and nothing really was accomplished.
Yes.
And I mean, we're talking about investing in our children. We're talking about investing in the future. So 20 minutes a night, drill your children on the importance of their manners, the importance of their skills, and the importance of etiquette.
Yes, yes.
And being kind and respectful to others.
Yes, I agree. And in fact, you just gave me a great idea. I think some of the schools that we are associated with, we should put a flyer together and give that flyer to all of the children in that class to take home, to encourage their parents to take that 20 minutes and teach them etiquette. Now, I think if every child's parents in that classroom are on the same page, like in the classroom, every student in the classroom are on the same page to learn 1 + 1 is 2, okay? Then the parents of those same children should be teaching them that 20 minutes that you just encourage them to do. So therefore, all of the parents of the children in that classroom will be getting that 20 minutes each night. So then therefore, the children come into class will be able to conduct themselves. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it's a great idea, and that's why I brought it up. I think
we can do that.
Yes, and
We can do that.
I think that 20 minutes is not going to inhibit you, parents, at night. 20 minutes with your children. I mean, they really deserve more, but I understand we have to work, we have to do this, we have to do that. But if you would invest 20 minutes a night with your child, you would hear a different report from the teacher. She would be able to teach and reach each child. There would be less disruption, and you would be investing in the future of your child.
And for those parents who are listening to us, they should do the very same thing. You go to your school, you ask the principal, would it be possible for you to put a flyer together to distribute to the students of those children in that classroom with your child, to see if we can put all of those parents on the same page to do the same thing.
Yes.
And in fact, what we would do, and we make an announcement here on this today, what we would do, if you contact the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois, we would send you a curriculum online. We would email it to you. So please, info@efoi.org. Email us a request for a curriculum. We have a full curriculum that we can give to those parents. So you don't have to invent it, or you don't have to, go in the dictionary and look up words and try to figure out a curriculum. We have a curriculum for you that we will share with you free, no charge. Email us info@efoi.org and ask for our curriculum, and we'll be more than happy to send it to you. Then you'll have the information you need to educate your child for that 20 minutes.
Yes, and that's a winner for everyone involved.
Yes, yes.
And I mean, talking about stopping the violence, that would be something we could do as parents, as grandparents. Now, we help our children with their homework. We make sure that's done. Why not add that to the homework pack?
And we're willing to help you.
20
20
minutes is not going to inhibit you from getting rest to go to work the next day, but it will impact your child. And like I said, go to the school and tell the teacher the plan. They have all kinds of signs throughout the school, behavior, respect, but it needs to be reinforced at home.
Yes.
And 20 minutes is not a lot to donate to the child that you brought in this world and that you want to see succeed.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly with that. And then, you have our curriculum, then you can share it with other parents in that classroom. We don't mind. We're in the business of changing behavior.
Yes.
The Etiquette Foundation is committed to making a difference in the schools and in the homes of our children so that we can bring an end to this violence. We need to stop the killings. We need to educate our children and our adults in etiquette so they'll know how to conduct themselves as a civilized human being with manners and morals. Would you put this back up, that definition of etiquette back up there for a minute, Sandra? I want to go over this again. It says, the customary code of polite behavior. Polite. That word there, polite behavior. Now, I want to share with our audience the definition of the word polite. This would be very interesting for them. So I'm going to move that out of the way and bring this into the image on the screen here. Now, this is the dictionary's definition of the word polite. And would you like to read it, or would you like me to read it?
Whatever you like.
Okay, I'll read it. And how about that? You read the first one. 1, having or showing behavior that is respectful and considerate of other people. Let me read that again. Having or showing behavior that is respectful. That word, respectful and considerate of other people. Okay? That's what the word polite means. Some people get a little confused thinking you just being prissy and you just being uppity because you being polite. He's just being polite just because he can or she can. But the definition of that word is what I think is so important, and that is having or showing behavior that is respectful. If you can do that part, then you have mastered the word of etiquette.
Yes, and Mr. Wright, I would like to say this. There are so many disputes and arguments started because someone felt like they were disrespected.
Yes.
There are so many breakups in relationships
so
because somebody felt they were disrespected. There are breakups in marriages because she didn't respect me, he didn't respect me, or he wouldn't have did this and he wouldn't have did that. Do you see how much weight that word carries and how important it is and how we must instill it in our children and use it in our own lives every day?
Yes.
And so, you know, what we do, our children will do, because our home is their first school and we're their first teachers. So if they see us being respectful to one another in the household, in the workplace, in the church, out in the mall, then that's what they're going to imitate. Yes. They're going to imitate you because you are their role model, whether you know it or not, because you're the first person that they see, you're the person that they're with the most, and they're looking at your behavior and they're checking it out.
Yes.
So I ask, please consider this 20 minutes a night and let your children see the importance and instill to them the importance of respect.
Right.
Instill in them the importance of having manners and how to stop a situation. It's really called conflict resolution. Teach them how to resolve their conflicts without violence. And some of this we would stop. I know we say the police need to do this or the mayor needs to do this, but what are we doing?
Absolutely.
We need to do something.
Absolutely.
Because it's our children and it's our situation.
Yes.
Let's band together. 20 minutes a night. Spread it. We talk about everything else. How about spreading this? 20 minutes a night with your child and teaching them the skills that are so needed, social skills.
Yes.
No one's telling them, but I'm telling them, and you can tell them, and we can make a difference and change lives and futures and destinies.
Yes. And keep in mind also that you have a responsibility to conduct yourself at the very best in front of your children, in front of your community, and in your family. So etiquette is going to help you become a better person. And I guarantee you, once you start teaching your child, you will realize as a parent some of the things that you may be doing that's not appropriate and not correct. And you have to be able to role model what you're telling your child to learn and to incorporate into their own value system. This is a value system, okay? And you have to be able to demonstrate that you have those same values. You can tell a child one thing, but if you cussing, and you tell your child don't cuss, but you cussing, you telling your child to adopt some values that you don't have. And as their parent, you have to have the same values. So please start using what you're teaching to your children or to your child in your own life. Okay? You'll be surprised how amazing it is and how you will change as a human being once you start to intellectualize behavior. And that's exactly what it is.
Yes.
It's an intellectual process. You're not just doing something because I'm doing it just because You're doing it because you know it has purpose. You know it has reasoning. You know it makes sense. You know it's consistent with the society you live in. You're a member. You're a citizen. And you have obligations and responsibilities. That's such a great encouragement, Sandra.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I would like to say this. You know, our children are not in a generation where we can tell them what to do and we do something different. No, there was a time when you were told, well, you do what I tell you to do, not what you see me do. No, that generation is gone. You need to be the role model and you need to imitate what they see so it's not a double standard.
That's so true.
And that needs to be practiced. Please consider this plea that I'm making to every viewer, to every parent, to every grandparent. We can change this. We can change some lives. We can change some destinies, and we can direct some futures. But it starts with us. How can we expect everyone else to do something and we're not doing anything ourselves?
Right. And we need to understand why we're teaching this. You know, if you're sending your child to school to learn math and science, you know, you need to understand why they need to learn this lifelong behavior principles of how to conduct yourself in this society.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our show is ending. I know we can't believe it, but it is. But I would like to thank you for being my co-host and being here with me again today.
An honor. It's a pleasure.
And I thank all of you that are going to practice and adopt the plea that I've made, 20 minutes a night. God bless you. Have a great night and a great safe weekend. And remember, 20 minutes a night. Bye.
Good night.